Awesome. So, hello, Unlimited Wisdom family and members, community. Hi, Lisa Marie. Hi, Dustin. Hi, Melody. Hi, Jim. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Mary. Nice to see you again. Hi, Sandy. And of course, CJ, the hostess with the mostest. We got a great show for you here today. And the title will be People. Just people. And I think I'll start out by sharing something with you guys. And I know when I share it with you, you guys will immediately, I know you'll immediately understand where I'm going. Can you guys see it okay?
We got it.
I was saying, so, two people in the same bus going down the same road at the same time. And one of them is not going so good, and the other one is going really good. And it's just simple from, do you believe that the person in the purple shirt could look to his left? For me, yeah. He could definitely look to the left. And so, hi, Coach Bob. Great to have you on here. Hi, Eric. Hi, Scott. And so, what I wanted to share with you guys is we always talk about perspectives, right? And the way that you look at things, the way that you frame things, the way that your perspective. And what I think is funny is I'll throw on top of this meme is a funny thing that I always say about whatever I'm doing. It doesn't make a difference what I'm doing. And I say, you know what's so awesome about marketing? The people. If you were going to ask me what the number one thing was that I love about marketing online, it's the people. Now, you know what thing I hate the most about online marketing? The people. So now that I just said that, I know I showed it already, but doesn't this hit home a little stronger? All right. So with that said, we all know that people are they're supposed to be able to instantaneously pick the emotion and the mood that they're in. Some people actually work hard enough to work on their feelings and controlling their emotions to most of the time being in that positive side. Does that make sense? And I had this crazy thought in my meditation and prayer time this morning. And in my prayer time and worship time, I thought, wow, if I purposely get up in the morning and do things that get me in an incredible mindset, do you think that I find people that are positive, or do you think I find people that are negative? So I know I've said that different ways many, many, many times. Hi, Scott. But how important is that? Hi, Deborah Grady. It's man, it's just so important. So then I think about life, right? And I go out of my way. I know that some of you have heard me say this over and over and over, but I attract and see human beings doing miraculous stuff. It's like I go from person to person to person, and what comes to me in audios and videos and on the internet and on the TV is I just constantly have this constant flow of people that are positive, people that are funny, people that are doing above average things. Are you guys listening to me? And it's like, and at the same time, do I know there's people out there that are constantly doing negative things? I heard this funny thing today. I hope that you find it funny. And this guy was asked, "Hey, how do you handle violent people?" And he goes, "You mind if I share a story with you?" And he said, "Sure." He says, "Whether you remember or understand the story or believe the story at all, Adam and Eve had two sons, Cain and Abel. And so there's four people on the planet. And one of them killed 25% of the people that are on the planet." He goes, "So I know you guys can think of anyone that you want to, from Hitler to Stalin, Napoleon, all these crazy, awful people in the world. But none of them have killed 25% of the people that lived on the planet at the time." And while he was saying this, you could hear everyone laughing, like, man, I never looked at it that perspective. So how could was it Cain that killed Abel? Was that the way it is? All right. What in the hell was going on in Cain's head? There can't be that much awful stuff going on in the planet. But apparently he was able to focus on stuff that was bad. Does that make sense to you guys? It's like if you really said, okay, what's the list of all the things that Cain could have been pissed off at and constantly dwelt in his mind about, to be upset enough to kill his brother? And I don't think that any of you would say this. Maybe you would. Is do you just think that Abel was that much of a pain in the ass? Because some people on the planet, for whatever reason, believe it's okay to be violent towards other people because they don't do or feel the way that they do. And I don't know how you feel about that. But for me, there was a time in my life where I allowed my mind, my soul, my spirit, everything to put me in a frame of mind that it was okay to hurt others. I thought the world sort of dealt me a bad hand. Uh, I grew up with no money, parents that were alcoholics that fought. Uh, One allowed me to get beat up, the other one beat me up all the time, and it was bad enough for the Child Protective Services to take me away from my parents and put me in a foster home that ended up being a foster home that ended up being an orphanage. Only one of those foster homes were good. And so at the age of 18, I basically have a plastic bag with my clothes in it, and I was on my own. And so, I didn't look at the world as doing anything to me. So instead of being a giver, I was a taker. And every day, even though I know I only need to apologize and ask for forgiveness once, I do it every day. Please forgive me for my sins. Please forgive me for the people that I hurt. Please forgive me for the things that I destroyed. And I had someone that was able to teach me that I could do a lot by putting stuff on the other side of the scale. And so me and my wife were talking about this yesterday. It's like, some of you probably were on recess. And I can tell you guys exactly how Matthew triggered me. Okay. And he doesn't mean to. I mean, me and him cleared it up in seconds after the deal. But me personally, um, when things were the worst in my life, I always seemed to not only be focused on the negative, like this guy looking at the cliff in the bus, but I was able to, in supersonic hearing and feeling and energy, I was able to consistently pick up um, people not saying nice things to me or about me. So that's the kid that doesn't have a mother and father. That's the kid that can't read. That's that special kid. So I know I had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, but as I went through that, I became a defender of people that can protect themselves. The largest part of my rap sheet, and I don't know how many, I'm not making an excuse, but probably easily over 12 times. I had been arrested for assault and battery. And what I would do when I was young is I would put myself in places where I would see guys mistreating people that were assholes. And I felt like I talked, like a Superman cape, like on my Master's Mind. I would put my super cape on, and I would beat the shit out of them. And it was so funny. 50% of those, it would get to the point that the person I was defending would be also fighting me, stopping me from trying to hurt their boyfriend or her spouse. That was always something that I never really understood, but I understand it now, right? So I was telling Matt that, and it's me, it's just purposely me, it's my trigger. But when I hear someone attack somebody, it triggers me, and apparently it doesn't make a difference if it's my son or whoever it is. I just do not understand. It's okay for them to believe things, but I don't feel it's okay to attack people. Does that make sense to you guys? And so I was trying to think where I was getting it from. And then through a discussion back and forth with Matt, um, um, I deeply understand the stories of what happened to Jesus. And there was people that made up stuff about him, people that lied about him. It was totally set up. And he got crucified. And so my mentor always told me about this other mentor that he had. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Landmark Forum. One thing that spun off from Landmark Forum was Nexus. It ended up being a documentary and a cult. But the person that ran it was a guy named Warner Earnhardt. Okay. And he did this in the late 70s. Late 60s, early 70s. And it was called EST, EEST. And he made Tony Robbins look like he didn't know anything. And he was changing all these people's lives, and his seminars kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And my mentor went through those. And so the people that this man changed, and of course, when you change people's lives, you get some people upset. Jesus is out there. He's doing some stuff, and people made lies about him and rumors about him and crucified him. And no one still to this day knows what happened, but his daughter came out and said that my father not only molested me for years, but he raped me and blah, 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 blah. And so when 60 Minutes came out with that, well, of course, a lot of legal stuff happened. I know they were just doing a big investigation on him. And then when it seemed like they didn't have really the proof to do anything, then they sicked the IRS on him. And it became so bad toward his repetition, that he decided to sell Est to Landmark Farm. That's where it came from. And then he just packed all his bags and decided to go to a country and just leave everything. Just leave his calling, leave what he knew, just leave everything. So then what happened is years afterwards, I don't know how many years, but his daughter gets married, has kids of her own, and then came out and recanted everything that she said. And she said that someone manipulated her and convinced her to do that. And the IRS dropped everything on him. So he got accused of something that he didn't do. He lost his business. His wife divorced him. All his friends and family are gone. And he's like, just decides to be excommunicated from the world. And so what I was telling Matt to how I was reacting is I don't have to have any feelings about Donald Trump. Does that make sense to you guys? It's like, really, honestly, I'm too happy and too engaged in the world to make an impact in the world to ever focus on anybody like that. But the only point that I was trying to make in recess is, let me go back to the picture. I think it's so important. Is look at this picture again. And we always talk about the two groups of people, right? Or I say three all the time. I always say two and then I say three, right? So there's people that are not plugged in. They don't know that they don't know that they don't know, and they don't care that they don't know. You know what I mean? And that's okay. It actually ends up to be a pretty big group, right? But then there's a group of people that just love people. They just love people. I look at every one of your faces and I can't imagine, see, I'm just not this person. So if anyone told me, I just wanted to let you know that I really like so-and-so. Do you know that would not change my feelings about you in any way, shape, or form? You could tell me about a movie you dislike or like. You could tell me about an actress or an actor that you like or dislike. You could tell me about anybody that you like or dislike. That does not change the way I feel and the way I want to serve you. And here I am, 64, and I had no clue that there's a whole different group of people out there that will trash you, disown you, spread rumors about you, say shit that's not true, just because you don't believe the way they believe. And that's what the crucifixion was about. So not getting, spiritual on you guys. But if you remember, what was it? The Roman Pilate or whatever his name was?
Pontius Pilate.
Pontius Pilate, okay. Do you know how many times that even in the story and also the Passion of the Christ, that man was influenced by his wife and other people to do everything that he possibly could not to say he needed to be crucified. His wife was saying, you don't know, there's something special about this dude, blah, 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 blah. But in the movie, The Passion of the Christ, and I don't know how close it is to the Bible story, but I guess they brought this guy and pulled him out of prison that's not only already been convicted of multiple murders, but the guy was just a screaming, crazy lunatic. And they bring him up with Jesus, on one side, and this other guy on the other side, monster. And he basically said, okay, I'm only going to crucify one of these people. Which one should it be? And everybody goes, that guy. And I was like, wow. So, of course, the last thing that gets him, Pilate looks at Jesus and says, the biggest reason they want you to go down is because they basically say that you're saying you're God. You're saying you're God when all of them believe in another God. Who do you say I am? And all of you know the answer. He just said, it really doesn't make a difference what I say. It's like, you guys have already made a decision, and that's just what I got to do. So I wanted to explain to people, I took the time yesterday after recess to find out where that trigger is. And that's my trigger. You know what I mean? That there's one group of people on the planet that can run around the world and find statues and stuff dedicated to people that had a heart, had bravery, had courage. And they were the founding fathers of this country. And they stuck up to the British and they made America. That's 250 years old. And there's people that go, well, it's obvious that he had sex with slaves he owned. So let's do everything we can to erase this guy from history and destroy everything that he did positive. Do you guys understand where I'm coming from here? And I'm just like, I've said this in ways all the time. I just ask you to be very, very aware that are you a person on a day-to-day basis that is for something or against something? Because that should just put you in a place. I personally don't have time to listen to people that have opinions that are not experts. It's like, it's just like, wow. So, and that's not the first debate that me and Matt have had in front of a group of people or by ourselves. And it's like, he even said yesterday, because we both, apologized to each other. And then the other thing is, he came back to me after I shared with him, like I just shared with you, that I'm a person that's looking, and I know that this might be, what is it called? Rose-colored glasses, but I do look for the best in people. And I do see more in them than they see in themselves. So, some of you have been friends with me forever, like not only Melody, but also Craig and Eric Markman. And it's like Eric Markman has said straight out to me, he goes, you've known me for over 10 years. I have no clue why you continue to communicate with me. Because everything you tell me, I don't do. And then he beats himself up some more. And I just say, listen, Eric, I love you. God connected us for a reason. I'm never going to give up on you. And I don't care how long you go without us messaging, but I'm going to be the guy that always reaches out and see how you are and tell you that I love you and tell you that I believe in you. And I'm not going to give up on you. And so Um, that's pretty much my message today. I just thought that it's crazy to me that as soon as you have two people on the planet, that immediately one person makes a bad decision and then influences the other one to do this decision. And then there's four people on the planet, and one of them kills the other one. And I'm going like, I just wouldn't spend a majority of my time thinking about people that are doing things that are not good. Right? I have a feeling, what a great word to use at this point. I have a feeling that I could find a lot of people that believe that there's not goodness in the world and love in the world. You know what I mean? And so that brings me down to my closing point. I sent this video to Eric today. Believe it or not, our brother, it'll hit me. It'll hit me. Mr. T, John Tier. Thank you, Lord. You see that, Eric? Live time is like, what do most people say? I'm bad at names. I can't remember this name. And the brain goes, your wish is my command. Your wish is my command. It wasn't coming to me. I said, it'll come to me. And it came to me. All right. So our brother John Tier sent this video, and he sent me a number of videos of this guy, and it was really, really, really good. And he was just talking about, again, the whole concept of how we view things, how we see things, our perspective on things. And one of them was really incredible. And it's the whole concept of humility, right? So how many people hear that, you need to be humble? All right. Humility and being humble is not your head down and your shoulders lean forward. Okay? Humble is not being confident, not being bold. Humility and being humble is being willing to admit that you got a lot to learn, that you haven't arrived. Would some of you say, and I'm not asking to pat myself on the back, but would some of you say that I'm humble? If you believe that I'm humble, am I also bold? Am I also passionate? Am I also direct? Here's another thing. How do you think I would react if I knew that somebody was attacking you guys? Say, there's a whole different part of Robert Hollis that's called Bobby Hollis, and none of you, I hope, ever gets to meet that person. But if someone's trying to hurt you with their words or physically hurt you, they're going to wish that they didn't go after you if I'm around. Do you guys feel that? Okay. So now do you understand when I come across sometimes? I come across sometimes like I'm really beating you up. Why would it feel like I'm really on you? Because I see the person that I love and care for, and I know where they're going to go. And I see another person within yourself beating the shit out of that person. So a lot of you have had conversations with me, And when I see you beating up yourself, I separate you from one person to the other person. Would all of you agree that we got both these people in us? Right? So if you believe that we have more, some of you would admit, got more than one, more than one personality in us, right? But if I'm telling you to stop it, I'm talking to one side of you that's beating up the good side of you. I've never said that ever on any Zoom. So when you're beating yourself up, I love you. I'm your friend. I'm your brother. And I'm going to come after you for that. So I keep saying last word, but this is, okay? For incredible, impactful things to happen in your life, for you and your family, you have to connect with people. You just have to. The people in the world that are making the biggest impact in the world are people that are consistently reaching out, looking for those that have ears to hear. I would make a challenge to any one of you to try to prove me wrong on that statement. So if we do talk about the story of Jesus, it's funny that they don't talk about how many people he talked to. We know that a few said, okay, I'll go with you. And some of them were definitely not good followers. Isn't that crazy? So when I brought up the thing that's so personal to me, that a group of people can get together and manipulate people to lie, to make rumors up about somebody and get them crucified. Do you know that that happened to a lot of people other than Jesus? Do you know that it happened to every disciple he had? Isn't that crazy? So, of course, Jesus' crucifixion really shook them because he told them all, hey, listen, when you're confronted with whether or not you know who I am or not, or whether or not you followed me, you'll deny me. You'll say straight out. And of course, Paul and Peter and the closest ones to him go, not me, not me, not me. And of course, they did as well. So that lesson shook them enough to know from that point forward that they would be probably have a group of people that say, you know, this person's not that good. This person's saying the wrong stuff. I was reading in Acts, and I forget the person in the story of Acts that they were doing the same thing to him. You know what I mean? They just all of a sudden just said, you know, we're going to get a group of people. We're going to tell them what to say. It's not the truth. And then it's going to stir up enough bad stuff where we're going to be able to bring, you know, him to the center court and crucify him too. And I'm like, I don't, do you guys think that's still happening? So I think it's pretty interesting that the bigger wakes that you make, the bigger impact that you make, it's like it doesn't make a difference how big or how deal. I know that you guys know Mr. Beast. And you hear how much this guy is giving to charity. And me and Terry were watching a show and on his stuff. And then all of a sudden, my son came out and he goes, "You watching Mr. Beast?" And we went, "Yeah." And he goes, "Let me tell you some shit about Mr. Beast." And I got in a little argument with Kyle. I go, "Listen, I don't need you coming out and trashing somebody that's inspiring me. Keep that to your fucking self. Because I'm just not that person." And I know there's both people in us because I used to be the other person. Make sense? So I think it's cool that we all get to decide what person we want to be. But the point that I wanted to bring up is if there's two groups of people out there, I will consistently all day, every day, connect with the group that has ears to hear. I'm going to constantly connect with a group of people that are praying, God, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. And if I continue to plant seeds, I will continue to harvest. Because I never ever stop planting seeds. So consistently, I have people that reached out to me that I somehow ran through connections with them, 20, 30 years ago. They're, hey, what are you doing? And I tell them, they're going like, I want to be a part of that. And it's like, that's what I got to do. I have to connect with people all day, and I have to be aware that a majority of them is the guy looking at the cliff, not with no hope. They have no hope. Um, they have no hope. They probably are lonely. They're depressed. They're in despair, and they're a product of the environment of them hanging around a group of people that make them believe that everyone's out to get them. So now, if you bring up anyone's name, they're going to throw shit at it. Does that make sense? It's like I can talk to a person for, you know, I know I made my point. So, for a while, there was this group out there that, was marching, and it was the 99 against the 1%. And we're seeing this more than ever. You know what I mean? That there's a large culture out there that I believe I don't want to throw her under the bus because I just talked about you shouldn't do that. But a person said that there's absolutely no way a person can be a billionaire unless they did it illegally. And I'm like, that's a big paintbrush, man. That is a huge paintbrush. And so, when you don't know people, and Matt used to tell me all the time that I would jump on him for saying garbage about Elon Musk. And now all of a sudden he's changed his mind about Elon Musk because he's in court, fighting people that are bad. And it's coming out. You know what I mean? But Matt would be the first person that used to say, I can't respect a person that treats his kids that way. And I'm going, so he's not perfect. Can you focus on what the guy's done? Here's a fact that I heard. He's 200 satellites away. 200 satellites away, Elon Musk is, of putting more satellites in space than everyone else combined since the first one. You take you take every other government and all the rockets that put satellites in the air, and he's less than 30 days away from having more satellites in space than all of them combined. Now, you might look at that and go, I don't think that's a good thing. I honestly don't think that we've seen what he's going to do with that yet. I don't know. The guy seems to be like 5 or 6 or 20 moves ahead of everyone. Yeah. So I love and appreciate you guys. Please make the decision each and every day to be a joyous person. You know what I mean? A happy person, a fun person to be around, a person that lifts people up and encourages them. Excuse me. Choose to be a good person so you attract good people. I love and appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thanks, Fahad, Shelly, Scott, Lisa Marie, Dustin, Melissa, Melody, Deborah, Eric Markman, Jim, uh, Deborah Grady, Mary, Coach Bob, Sandy. And how many people heard me say the right names for everyone but one? Oh, were you focusing on what I was doing right or what I was doing wrong? Nice. Some of you went, there's no Melissa. I love you guys. Thank you, Craig, the hostess with the mostest. Bye for now.